Hello, everybody, and welcome to Northwood Replay, Episode 3, Week 4 of the 2021 football season here at Northwood University. My name is Dale Robbins, along with my co-host, Rich Violette, and as always, we have head coach Leonard Haynes of the Northwood Timberwolves in studio to spend a little time with us, and more importantly, to spend a little time with you. It's great to have you along. Coach, Rich and I have 100 questions in 28 minutes and 32 seconds to ask them. So I'm going to let Rich take it first, just because he always takes my questions anyway, so it's probably our question.
Well, first of all, a statement. Great win, Coach.
Yeah, indeed.
It was good to see. You guys played well, both sides of the ball. A tale of two halves, 13-3 at half. What'd you say to the team at halftime? What was the message? Because you come out and put 34 on the board in the second half and continue to play outstanding defense.
Yeah, the first half was a little bit of, one of those, okay, how are we going to get out of this? And defense was playing well. Offense was stagnant, I thought. And, it was like, hey, we got to get these guys, got to get them going at some point, somehow. Had a different quarterback in there in Ty Cox. So, he had to get acclimated to what was going on and obviously been thrusted in the starting role. But when we get to halftime, I didn't say a word to him. I did not say one word to him other than let's go. And the assistant coaches, they did all the adjustments. They talked to the guys offensive, defensively, and those kids came back out ready to play, So, it was on them. It was on them. So it was nothing special said at halftime. No rah-rah message. It was like, hey, let's go. We got to go. And that's literally what happened.
Well, they didn't miss a beat energy-wise. Yeah. They come out ready to play that second half, and that was great to see.
Yeah, energy was there from top to bottom. I loved it, and that's how our energy is at practice usually. And it carried over to a game, and so it was good to see that. And obviously when you're making plays and you're doing good things, that energy sustains somehow, right? So I loved it. We got to continue it as we keep going forward.
I'm going to go back to your non-comments at the half to Ty Cox, because he finished as one of the honorable mentions in the GLIAC Offensive Player of the Week. He got that honor this last week, as well as he finishes the day with 12 completions out of 17 attempts through one pick, 3 touchdown passes, all in the second half. He now has a couple of starts under his belt. I think you've got to be excited with this youngster, just the fact that he was next man up in an opportunity, and he's taken that opportunity, and it looks like all the receivers, even your tight ends, you guys have involved your tight ends over the last couple of weeks effectively on some third and long and some situations where defenses don't know quite what to cover if Ty is accurate, and he seems to get himself some time with the pressure of the defense. So how is that chemistry? It's pretty obvious on the football field it's working for you, but how is that chemistry where he came in this season not being expected to be a starter, and now he's been thrust into that role?
Well, Ty, as a kid, he transferred in from Hillsdale College,
right.
So he's a little bit older, and it was good to see how composed he was. He stayed calm throughout the whole contest.
Indeed.
And that's something Coach Arnold and I talked about. I think that was a bonus. So he didn't get rattled. He stayed in the pocket. He stepped up in the pocket, and he threw he got better at throwing the ball throughout the game. So obviously that opens up a lot of things for us, And so I was very, very pleased at his performance, especially in the second half. I think he had to settle down, and after that first half, even though I didn't think he was rattled, I just think more so he was just trying to figure things out and slow things down. And so when he did that in the second half, we became pretty much a better football team in that second half. So the kids seem to rally around him, and they have no choice but to.
Coach, knowing there's always something to coach to, even with a win, 10 penalties in the game Saturday. I'm sure you addressed it. How did you address that with the team?
Yeah, I just told them that's not what we're about. We're not going to do that. We got to be first class, organization, and we're not going to be out on the field going wild, doing dumb stuff. To be quite frank with you, and you have to act like you've been there before, right? You got to know how to win. Like everybody hates losing, but when you win, it takes even a greater importance, to be a class act, and that's what it's about. So I addressed that to some of the guys, and we took care of some of that stuff on Sunday as well, so we shouldn't have that issue anymore.
Excellent.
Now also celebrating the 37-20 win over Northern Michigan at home in your home opener. not only did Ty Cox end up on the offensive side of honorable mention in Players of the Week in the GLIAC, but you also had another player that actually was the defensive player of the week this last week. And there are some great games in the GLIAC this last week. So to sit on top of the defensive player of the week, we have Malon Slaughter. And Malon, just quickly for you, he finished with 7 tackles. 3.5 of those were for losses, and he was also had a half a sack. This youngster is out of Hughesville, Maryland, and he is a part of your linebacking and defensive core, and we'll get a chance to meet the inside of that. Going to introduce everybody to a new coach on the staff of the Northwood Timberwolves. Excited for our second segment of this episode. But tell me a little bit about how he, and there's a play that Rich and I think will agree, turned the tide of that, was just an energy build. But talk about Slater and the defense that has put the offenses in the last of your 3 games thus far, has put those quarterbacks in an uncomfortable position to make quick decisions that lead to good defensive plays for you.
Yeah, Malone, when he came to us a couple years ago out of Malone, when Malone shut down football, we were able to get a pretty good football player. And he played for us, obviously, after that, and then he got injured. So nobody really knew about him, but we knew he was a pretty decent football player. But I would tell you this, with the addition of Mike Prefer, a linebackers coach, one of the things he preached was, we got to get TFLs, tackles for loss, and have our linebackers be more aggressive instead of wait for the action to come to them. So it's been great to see the attacking style defense that we have now, especially from our linebackers. They're not just waiting now for it to develop. They're going to get it now. And so I believe it kind of unchained, I guess, if you will, Milan to just go play football. And it's less thinking now. And so I love to see that. And he's just playing free now. And so very smart young man, very good young man, silent leader, basically. He's going to show up on the field and he's going to play football, man.
Defensively, we always do the keys to the game before the game starts. And so I analyze both teams, and I kind of look at things on paper and knowing what we know from the wood, because, of course, we see every week. My number one key to the game, if you remember, was defense. And
I knew he was going to bring up his
and I was just, and it's always different. It's always what you see and how you need to be ready and play for a game. I love the fact that you say they don't have to think. Let them go out and play. And again, leading on to Dale's question, you got to be extremely happy with the defense and where we're at so far this year with the defense.
I am.
And coaches.
Yeah, I am. A lot of times it takes somewhat of adjustment to get adjust to new coaches to new players. And I'm very excited for our defensive staff and our defense, man, how they've been getting after it. They simplify things so these kids can just fly around and make plays. And so now you're starting to see that happen. And it's obviously we have to continue that.
And that leads to interceptions. You got 6 interceptions on the year because you're putting pressure on the quarterback. Just different things.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
Real good.
Hats off to our
stuff.
defensive staff for that. Yeah.
Now, we talked about the success of your offense last week in the win over Northern. We talked about the defense, and special teams, as you'll say, is as much of a component of those games. And I'll tell you what, my turnaround thought of that game was your first score of the second half, and that was the field goal block by Malik Edmondson, who, by the way, is also an honorable mention in the GLIAC for special teams. Then not only does he block it, but he also scoops and scores.
Well, he didn't block it. Eric Santiago blocked it.
Okay.
I was seeing that on the stats. Yeah. but Malik got the score.
He got the score, though.
All right.
Eric said it, then Malik finished.
So special teams, it is a plural. It is a plural approach,
absolutely.
right? It takes a team. Coach, we usually show some highlights, so strap on, buddy.
Oh, man.
We got some highlights from the win over Northern this last Saturday in Midland.
Here we go. Still in that first half, 10-3. We were trying to find a way to gain some momentum, and our guys came to play here. I think that's one of our DBs. I can't see the number, so forgive me. But I believe that was Andrew Davis on that stop there. You can see Northern starts to drive somewhat, and here it is, a screen pass. Great play for our defense there coming up, stopping that. A little scramble by the quarterback, and this quarterback is a great scrambler, through the year. Last game he had about 100 yards off of scrambling, and so it was good. Our guys are really keyed in on him and also that number 10, that running back, and I thought they did a great job at containing those guys. Here's what changed the game for us here. You got the block inside by Eric Santiago, and Malik Edmondson scoops it and score it just like they practice. Just like they practice, scoop and score, baby. And so that really changed it for us, the momentum, and I thought we never gave the momentum back to Northern Michigan. And so that was great to see. Here's some more clips defensive-wise, blitzing off the edge here. Great sack. Our defense, we are coming again with some more pressure. Again, we wanted to put pressure on these guys, and here's a pick by Dylan Zagula. One of our, again, young linebackers who out there who's playing really well for us as well. So then here's a little play action pass up to John Hall, touchdown, and again, you can see that momentum just change.
And a great call right after the turnover.
Right? Oh, yeah, right after turnover. You want to try to attack them. Absolutely. Absolutely. So that was good. And then here offensively again, we get a little bubble pass out to Tajay Leslie. If he could have got that edge, oh, man, he's got some speed on him.
And I commented how he held his feet in bounds there. Yes. That was unbelievable. Yeah.
And that's his first game back, so it's good to have Taj back. Here's a little draw back to our tight end, trying to get the tight end a little bit more involved in what we're doing. And Seamus Conway, that was for a huge first down. And I think that was after the penalty. And so that was huge for us to keep the drive going. And here we are into that, going in the end zone here to lead us Micah's first collegiate touchdown, in his senior year. So very happy for him. And I think that was his first game back as well, if I'm not mistaken. And here we are, and that's Milan Slaughter.
Boom.
Boom. Yeah. Boom. That's a good way to put it down.
You ought to hear me on the broadcast.
Is that right? A lot of sound effects going on. Here we are again, sacked by defensive end DJ Carter, and that's Milan again. Those two converge on that sack. Again, we're very aggressive defensively, just letting these guys run around. And here it is now. We wanted to stay aggressive throughout the game. A great call by Coach Arnold to go up to Christian Martinez, to try to put the game away as much as we could. And not be conservative, I guess, if you will. And here it is. It's going to be a nice pick here. And is that Jace? Yeah, I believe that's Jace. That was a great pick by Jace. And then he's kind of capping things off with Cash Goldsmith.
He deserved that kind of a run, too.
And Jace is playing real well, too.
Yeah,
He's
Jace
all
has
over
definitely
the place.
stepped up.
Yeah.
He's definitely stepped up. Guys starting to mature into their roles. And, that's a great thing to see. And here he is. It's our pick here by, I believe that's Eric Santiago, to kind of cap the game off. And then, obviously, we go into that victory formation at the end, which everybody loves on the winning side of things.
So 37-20, our final score. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at what happened around the GLIAC.
Yeah, Grand Valley went up to Tech, 44-21. Saginaw Valley beat Wayne State. 41-21, and Fair State dominated, Davenport, and St. Thomas. No, that's not right? St. Thomas and Michigan Tech. I don't think Michigan Tech played twice.
No, they've been busy. They were worn out.
Still in the non-conference deal. That was a non-conference game for us.
Right.
And so here we are as the conference standings overall. See where we sit. Ferris right at the top of everything right now.
Yeah, and Ferris at 4-0. They dropped a spot in the top 25. They are now at number 2. And we'll talk about a little bit of where the GLIAC, where we reside in 2021, and the GMAC, where we're going in 2022. There are a lot of recognizable names that are some of the top teams in the country, and you literally have them on your schedule as we lie ahead of not only this Saturday for Homecoming Auto Show, but like we said last week, it doesn't get easier the further you get into this, does it?
No, not at all.
Well, we're going to introduce you to some of the new staff at Northwood University for the Timberwolves, and we're excited to take you into the linebacking core and the special teams side of Northwood football 2021, and we'll do that right after these notes. everybody. Welcome back. Dale Robbins, Rich Violette, and Northwood Replay 2021. Great to have you along this morning. And it's our pleasure and excited about introducing you to one of Coach Haynes' new assistant coaches. He oversees the linebacking and special teams for the Northwood Timberwolves this year. Mike Prefer. And Mike, it is great to have you in Midland, Michigan, and thanks for being a part of Northwood Replay this morning.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Just quickly for you, we said this last week that it seems like most of the coaches that Coach Haynes has brought on this year are probably still eligible to play for about another year based on youthful appearance, and you have that same look, by the way. Mike, tell us a little bit about where you're from, some of the things you've got under your belt, and what you expect to open your belt up to do here in Midland, Michigan with the Timberwolves.
Sure. So where I'm from, I'm kind of a nomad. This is the 12th state I've lived in, so I've been all over the place. My dad's in coaching. My grandpa was in coaching. So we've been all over the place. I played football at University of Wisconsin-Eau Claire, D3 up in Wisconsin.
Okay.
Played DB and quarterback out there. Right after I was done playing, got on at University of Minnesota with Coach Fleck, working on special teams. Spent a year there and 2 years at Pittsburgh, University of Pittsburgh, with Coach Narduzzi, working on defense, and found my way over here to Coach Haynes in Midland. I've had a great time so far. Obviously, a big win last week.
You bet.
Coming off that, obviously rolling into homecoming and this week is huge. But I'm excited to be here. I'm blessed to be here. I have some northwest ties.
Okay.
So I've been around the cold, like we were talking pregame, and
right.
So I've been around the cold. I have my jackets, my parkas, so I'll be nice and warm up here.
So you had no choice but to coach. It's genetic for you, is what it sounds like.
I'm a third-generation special teams coordinator. So my grandpa
tremendous.
was a special teams coordinator for the Lions for 7 years. My dad's a current Cleveland Browns special teams coordinator.
Okay.
So it's his 21st season in the NFL. So special teams definitely in the blood. Coaching definitely in the blood. So I've been all over the place.
You talked about it since you were a kid at breakfast, whether Dad and Grandpa were there or not.
Absolutely.
It's part of what you are.
Yes,
You
sir.
bet.
Well, welcome, Coach, to Midland.
Thank you.
For sure.
I appreciate it.
Special teams, you got some big shoes to fill here. Coach Arnold did a phenomenal job with special teams here for a long time, and I'm sure there's some banter that goes back and forth between you, but does he stay out of your way?
No, he's been honestly unbelievable to have around, just personnel-wise. Right when I got here, hey, who fits where? We'll sit down for a couple hours here and there, just talking schemes, stuff like that, where people fit. It's best case scenario for me because special teams coordinator from the past is still on the staff. Right. He's our offensive coordinator now, so having him on staff has been huge for me. Getting acquainted with the players, what they've done in the past, terminology he's used in the past. So I've been able to kind of mesh his ideals with my ideals and kind of make it my own.
Well, between what he brings and what you bring, obviously, special teams is playing great. Defense is playing great. Linebackers are playing great, and I know you coach the linebackers. What can you tell me about that group of linebackers? Because it doesn't matter who you put in there. They're all making plays.
Sure. Yeah, so we're really deep in that core. So I feel like we're very deep at linebacker. I mean, Milan played really his first game. Prior to that, we've had 6 linebackers play, 5 different kids start in 3 games. So we have a really deep core there, a lot of guys that know what's going on. At practice, I feel like I almost got too many guys over with me in the linebacker core, like, hey, we got to spread these guys out somewhere. But no, I mean, we have a very deep core, a lot of guys that know what's going on, a lot of guys that have played football in this past season off and in the 2020 season off. I think they were able to learn a lot. So those young guys have come a long way, and they're not really true freshmen anymore. Like you said, Bimba, right, redshirt freshman, but he's played a lot of football, practiced a lot of football, and now he's getting those needed game reps.
I think in the minute we have left, Mike, I think one of the things Rich and I have noticed as well is this defense, and especially your linebackers, they seem to be really proactive rather than reactive. You guys are aggressive. You're keeping the offense line as well as the backfield of the offense really guessing on what comes next, and you're doing it hurriedly. You're putting some pressure on these guys. That's kind of what you're looking to achieve in that and give your defense a shot of making the plays.
Absolutely. So my biggest thing when I came in here, we will out-effort every team we play. So effort's obviously priority. We preach it every single day. It comes from the head coach all the way down. Coach Haynes does a great job preaching effort, special teams, offense, defense. But on defense, right, I want every run play to look like we're blitzing. So you guys might even think we're blitzing on a run play. It's not a blitz, but we're just reading our keys, stepping downhill when we're getting to the football. Yeah. And it's why Milan's able to have success in the backfield, why some of our guys are able to have that success in the backfield is because when it is a run and we're playing our base defense,
right,
it looks like a pressure, right? So we're able to mix it up in that sense. But we are blitzing the quarterback. We are trying to get after the quarterback. We want to be aggressive and unpredictable are the two major things we want to do on defense.
We are awful excited to see the Bulldogs come to town for our homecoming auto show weekend here in a couple of days. It is great to have you on board, and here's your shot at a big dog. Might as well play Ferris. If you're going to play anybody, take them on, and we're excited to see what you review for us come this Saturday at Hans Field. So thanks for being here with us this morning, Mike.
Coach, glad to have you with us.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Anytime.
Linebacker and special teams coach Mike Prefer, Northwood University Timberwolves football 2021. We're continuing on, and we'll take a look at those Bulldogs, what they look like on paper, and how we match up, and we're going to do that right after this. Welcome back, everybody, and special thanks to Coach Mike Pfeiffer, who spent a few minutes with us. Introduction to you and some of the sideline conversations that Coach Haynes gets to have each and every day with a staff that's proving themselves to be quality folks. So, Coach Haynes, nicely done. A little bit of head coach interpretation of another one of your assistants. How does Mike fit into your realm with what you're doing every day with your club?
Well, I think he can relate to our players really, really well, given that age difference.
Right.
But he brings, we were just talking his pedigree that he has, and he has some experience, and he's still learning, as a young coach, but he's doing a phenomenal job, and our players are really taking to him.
Good deal. Sure sounds like it.
Yeah.
He sure sounds good. Looking ahead to Fair State. Boy, you got the number 2 team in the country coming in here. And you got a pretty confident coach over there that thinks he's already got one in the win column, which really upsets me, and it should upset the players as well. But I think you got an excellent opportunity. Like you said earlier, Coach, you got to play them, right? And you're ready to play. And what are the keys to beating this club?
Our execution, our enthusiasm, and taking advantage of the opportunities that we get. And so, yeah, we got to play them right there on the schedule, whether it's homecoming or a home game or an away game. We got to play them. Yep. So at the end of the day, hey, we got to be at our best, when we come to play them. So at the end of the day, if we want to seat at the table, these are the games you want, and our players know that and they understand that. So there's no time to worry about who we're playing. We got to take care of Northwood business, as I always say, and we got to come out and play football and let the chips fall where they may.
Coach, you got a team offensively. They're averaging about 512 yards a game through 4. They're 4-0. They're doing about 275 of that in the air. They're doing about 240 of it on the ground. They're only allowing about 19.5 points a game through 4. And they're only allowing about 300 yards a game. You guys ended up being against Northern, you had fewer total yards, but your impact of the time that you had the ball, you had some quick series on Saturday, some explosive series. We had talked about going for the touchdown to Hall right after you got the pick, and ended up turning that situation on a 1st and 10. You had a 35-plus yard touchdown strike that was a momentum builder in that second half. There's not a secret to taking on Ferris, but you certainly see this as a matchup, as you just cited. It's time to play. At the end of the day, you're going to have to play them. You got a big weekend to do that. We're supposed to have great weather for auto show. It's going to be a good draw as far as our fans, and they were certainly supportive in the home opener last week against Northern. A little sense of where your guys are on both sides of the ball right now. We haven't seen Ferris in a couple years. You got heartbeats going. You don't have to probably generate a lot of energy for this one Saturday, do you?
You don't have to. For games like this, you don't have to generate a lot of energy.
Right.
It should take care of itself, right? We're at home in front of our crowd, homecoming, a lot of alums coming back, a lot of people coming to see Northwood football and what we're about. So it's a great opportunity to come out and play great games. And so, Ferris State's a great football team, no doubt, from top to bottom. They are deep, and we understand that. So I would never, ever disrespect them because, they've earned the right to be where they are. So, again, like I said, if we want to sit at the table, we got to come ready to play.
Coach, they're gonna likely play 2 quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. Looks like they rotate them pretty evenly. Does one pose any different threat than the other quarterback?
I think one does something better than the other. Whether it's running, throwing, you can kind of see it on film as we watch them on film. And so they're definitely going to use two quarterbacks that they have. We just don't know who we're going to see first. But at some point, I think one plays one quarter, the next one plays the next quarter. And sometimes it's by the situational type stuff. They bring the other guy in to run to get the first down or whatnot. So we're just making sure we're aware who's in the game and what they bring, to that offense.
In the couple of minutes that we have left before we take a look at this week's schedule, we're not going to get too far out in front of this. Matter of fact, I'm not even going to say it. But I'm taking a look at the top 25, and we had talked before the show started about, of course, Ferris being number 2 in the country. Team West Florida, and they are out of the Gulf Southern League. They're the number 1 team in the country. They and Ferris swap places. But also Grand Valley's currently ranked number 5, and we get down to the GMAC, and Tiffin's sitting at number 14 this week. You, thus far, as of this Saturday, will have seen 2 of the top 20 teams in the country. This is good for your program and good for these players.
It is. You want to go against the best. You want to see how you measure against the best and how far we need to go, or what we need to do to get to the upper echelon. And so this is good for our young football team and to take on these challenges, and they meet them head on. And so they don't back down from anybody.
Let's take a look at what this weekend conference play begins, and let's take a look at what that has in store for us this week.
Absolutely. Obviously here, we got, that is our schedule, right? So.
Yes, that's us. That's a lot of games this weekend, Coach. I hope you're.
This weekend we got to get through. But we play Ferris State.
Good read.
This week. I don't know who we play next week.
Let's take a look if we've got this week's schedule. Let's take a peek beyond that. All right. So you've got it all memorized anyway. I don't have to tell you who's playing.
No, I don't know. I'm sure about Northwood.
We have a 1 o'clock kickoff. Rich and I will be on the radio at about 12:45. We are so multimedia. This Northwood Replay is on YouTube. You can find it at Community Voices at MCTV on the web, and lots of people asking about it. We're at GoNorthwood.com, where you can get live stats, live video of Richard and I's call, and so forth. And I'll tell you what, it amazes me everywhere that I go, and Rich will attest to the same. People want to know about Northwood football, and they want to know how Coach Haynes is doing and how's your year going. It, again, is fun to talk about what you've built, and we are just seeing the first few foundational boards of this thing for this year start to reveal themselves. You got people talking good things about you, Coach.
Well, that's good. That's always good. Praise God.
You bet. You bet. So in our time this morning, Rich, you got any last thoughts? They give us less than a minute.
I agree with Dale. I'm getting texts all the time on the program. Things are looking good, and people are positive, and I get a lot of folks coming for homecoming.
Yeah.
So they want to hook up after the game. That could be a problem. But
yeah.
Seriously, Coach, good luck to you this weekend. I'm in your corner.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah. And with that, we're going to let you get back to your Thursday morning, or depending on when you're watching this on MCTV's broadcast, this will be replayed. Northwood Replay. Hey, go figure. It'll be replayed on YouTube. We've got podcasts for you. It'll be on air at 107.7 The Highway and also at GoNorthwood.com. So with that, we are out of here, and we're always going to do what we promise we're going to do. We're going to go away mad, just like we want you to. Go away and make a difference. It's been great. We'll see you next week to recap this one and build on the next one. Have a great weekend, everybody.